When I heard Dunkirk, I think, oh, my house is going to be in a movie finally.
That's right.
You live on Dunkirk.
I live on Dunkirk. We need help. Send your boats over.
Hey Leo, can you drop this off at my house?
Yeah.
There's no hiding from this sun. This story takes place on the beaches of Dunkirk. The British military has been pinned down by the advancing German blitzkrieg, and they desperately need to evacuate. You follow the perspective of three different situations. First, you have the merchant ships who have been ordered to cross the channel to help evacuate as many soldiers as possible. You have the soldiers themselves who are on the beach desperately trying to escape. And then you have the pilots in the sky trying to take down the bombers before they can actually throw down on any of these soldiers.
So Dunkirk I can only describe as a 1 hour and 47 minute anxiety attack from start to finish. Now I will say, if you are going into this movie expecting a standard war movie, this is not it. And in fact, this is one of the movie's greatest strengths. This is not a movie about celebrating the heroes like in Saving Private Ryan. No, this is about the grit that you need to have in order to survive and in order to win the next battle. So one of the things that has to happen to make this movie work is the acting. You really have to deliver the performance of being a soldier who is just waiting, a soldier who doesn't have any guns on them, who's just powerless and is just waiting for something to happen, all while trying to avoid the inevitable attack of the German blitzkrieg. And the actors in this movie did really well at portraying it. I could feel the tension with them. I could feel them being desperate.
My favorite performance in this film came from Mark Rylance by far. You could tell that he's this stoic character. He is a little bit afraid, but he can't be afraid. He's doing this for his country. There's no other option. He has to go in and do it. And you really get that patriotic feel from him coming across.
And you could feel the tension in his character as well, where he just has this steadfast approach. We're going to Dunkirk, whether you like it or not. Even when he picks up that shell-shocked soldier, played by Cillian Murphy, who is definitely not wanting to go back there. He has to keep that course set.
And he's like,
there's no hiding from this, son. We have a job to do.
What did you think of Harry Styles in his acting debut?
Yes, this is Harry Styles' acting debut, isn't it? And he actually does quite a good job. Part of this is alleviated by the fact that Dunkirk doesn't really focus on any specific hero, rather it focuses on the event that's going on and just captures a bunch of different people experiencing the event. Harry Styles' character just happens to be one of them. His acting is actually quite good. He feels like he is a soldier along with everyone else, and you know, for a guy that people love to make fun of, he does a pretty damn good job at playing the part.
Now, Tom Hardy's in this film, and he plays Guy in Mask.
AKA the Spitfire pilot that saves the day and keeps the German forces at bay while the evacuation happens. Tom Hardy continues to prove that he doesn't need a mouth to act. With a giant ventilator mask over his face, all of his acting is done mostly through his eyes and through his movements, and he does a spectacular job at acting in a tiny enclosed space. We really get to feel the tension from him as well. Like the dog fights in this movie feel realistic. I can feel the disappointment when Tom Hardy misses his shots. I can feel the slight victory when he shoots a plane down. And I can feel the fear in him when he's pinned down by two different German planes in the front and behind.
You gotta love what Nolan did with the camera work, where as the planes are twisting in the sky, the camera is twisting as well. It makes you feel like you are actually up there on that little Spitfire, and you are twisting around in the sky with Tom Hardy. You're trying to get your spec over the opposing plane and trying to shoot it down.
In general, the cinematography is excellent. It really portrays what it's like to be there on the scenes, choosing to use unusual camera angles to amplify the amount of craziness and the amount of fear that's going on with these soldiers. You have these very claustrophobic shots where they depict like just these soldiers that feel trapped. You have water that comes into the frame and it feels like you're drowning. They really did a good job with the cinematography here.
All of the scenes in the water make you feel like, drowning to death is a legitimate option. And you don't always get that. In other films, you get like characters just swimming in the ocean. Like, no, like drowning can happen here easily.
Complementing the visual effects or the sound, which I thought was exemplary in this movie. Hans Zimmer does an excellent job with the score. It is a completely unconventional score. This entire film has a droning soundtrack behind it, with the stopwatch that is constantly in play. I only have one complaint about the sound, which is the fact that the effects and the music and the dialogue aren't necessarily well mixed. So often you're not hearing the dialogue a lot of the time, but for the most part, the emotional impact of it is great. And especially in the theater where we were at, which was complemented with a 70mm showing, you definitely felt like you were there, and it does not feel good.
All right, so we watched this film in classic 70mm film. For those who don't know what it is, back in the day, they used to use 35mm film. That was the standard size. And the 70mm film was like the IMAX version, where it's like twice the length. Nolan did use the 70mm film to film this. And part of it is that you get that classic film feel. You get this graininess on the movie. And it feels like it came from back in the day. And for a World War II film, having that effect just gives us this authenticity that you don't see in other films. And I really think it added to the overall effect.
You know, on top of that, because the format is ultra wide, you're really able to get the landscape very well. Those sweeping shots of the beach where the plane is flying over and you see all the lines of people waiting to be evacuated are just done right on 70mm film. If you have a choice to watch this between like a digital format and 70mm film, I definitely recommend going 70mm. You're not going to see a lot of movies that are formatted like this in this day and age. So overall, Dunkirk is one of the most unique film experiences that you can see today. Its unique perspective on the war genre, combined with the brilliant performances and the excellent directing skill of Nolan, gives this a solid movie review. I give it a 9 out of 10 only because I have certain gripes with the technical aspects, but otherwise I find it to be a thrill from start to finish.
I think it's just overall really well done, really well crafted. It's not like a go have fun type of movie, like a Fast and the Furious type movie. It's a serious movie. It's going to give you that tone. It's going to give you that dread, just that overall feel of being in war, of having to lose, of having to evacuate. And just on those merits alone, I give it a 10 out of 10, just a perfectly crafted beast of a movie.
You can practically see it from here.
What?
Home.
Hey, I need you to pick me up. Where do you live? Dunkirk Street.
Dunkirk Way.
I don't want to go there. There's no hiding from the sun.
Yeah. You fool. There's like a death sentence.